Okay, we will start now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi hadana lihada wa ma kunna linahtadiya lawla an hadana Allah. Nusalli wa nusallimu ala habibina al-Mustafa Sayyidina wa maulana Muhammad ibn Abdillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa hlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So hi friends and fellows, welcome to this series of Iium Student Union Dialogue involving personalities from each candidate which running for 3 seats of upcoming student union lineup. So let me introduce myself first. My name is Mahmoud Ibn Hussein, a final year student at Iium Gombak, majoring in political science, and I'm also the president of Islamic Studies Forum for Indonesia, or ISFI-IUM. And I'm really feel pleased to moderate tonight's sessions, and we'll be asking you guys, inshallah. So before we begin, I want to ask you guys, are you doing good today? All right. So before we begin, let's recite Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So our session today would be set until 10 p.m. and also we will hear the manifesto from each candidate, and also some questions will be delivered and then we will ask for them. And lastly, we will open the floor for each candidate for to be asked by the audience. So let's start our session. So firstly, before we begin, is uh, one of the important thing we have to know each candidate. So firstly, I wanna introduce for you guys our first candidate that's running for Secretary General, which which is Sister Nur Hazila. So please give applause. So firstly, we wanna hear from Sister Hazila to introduce short about yourself and also your manifesto. Time is yours. Just sit.
Tes. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Hazira binti Zainal, or everyone can call me Hazira. I'm a third year second semester student from IPHS majoring in political science. Okay, so I will proceed with my manifesto, which I have listed three manifestos, and each one of them I like provide what I bring it with the value which I want to achieve by the end of my tenure. So, for the first manifesto, the value that I want to bring is regarding the accountability. So, as you all know that right now, many students they refuse to participate in the campus politics. Many students they no longer believe in the SU. They feel like they cannot rely on SU. They feel like SU cannot do anything when they report any issues or when they voice out their opinions. So what I want to bring back is that the idea that students can rely on SU. I want them to believe that the student union can be their voice. The student union can be the voice of the students. So what I could do is that by providing a channel for the student to make a report or to for them to give their comment to the student union. And also, as the Secretary General itself, I would say that many students they misunderstand the role of the Secretary General. Mostly, students think that the Secretary they just do the administration works. They just do the documentation. They just send the email or anything that related to the administration. But what I want students to know is that me as a Secretary General, I can do more than that. I can give the students more than that. So I believe that with my position, I will try my best to be the voice of the student. Okay. And then moving to my second manifesto, which I want to bring the value of transparency. So what I want to do is regarding the management of the data. So as you all know that the secretary, they manage all the data. They do all the documentation. So for example, when students um, fill in a form, for example, they need the before the students to fill the form to get the assistance. But then the students don't know where their data goes to. So what I want to do is that providing a channel where students can see where their data goes to. Maybe when there is like the third party company, they want to give the assistance to the B40 students. So um, we will show which company that we provide the data to. And this second manifesto is related to the first manifesto regarding the providing the channel. So other than making the channel for the student to lodge a report or to give their concern or comments, this channel can also be used as for the students to access all the data that are necessary for them. And then moving to the last manifesto, the value that I want to bring is efficiency. So the issue is that we realize that the SU, why we suddenly not believing in SU, why we suddenly no longer rely on SU because of the inefficiency, the lack of governance, the lack of communication within the SU that cause them to be inefficient. So um, the the thing that I want to bring is to ensure that uh, to reduce the miscommunication within the SU. Because how can SU function? How can the SU do the work for the student if they cannot function efficiently? So I really want to ensure that um, the SU can function efficiently. So what I'm trying to do is by emphasizing on the documentation, not just like for the minute meeting and so on, but I will do more on meeting with all the officers to liaise with them to see whether all officers they understand what their job scope is. So I guess that's all for my manifesto. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. So Sister Hadira for giving her speech and also the manifesto of his candidacy for the Secretary General of Student Union for upcoming seat. So we are moving forward to Brother Muhammad Mahmud Rahman, is candidate for the Office of International Affairs. So all of us, we want to hear manifesto plans and what he want to do for our student union in an upcoming events. So the, the time is yours.
Assalamu alaikum. First and foremost, I would like to thank the IIUM Election Commission to organize the event and just to show appreciation because I know you guys have, worked day and night to organize and help us candidates to give us a voice to be able to present ourselves in the best way possible. So I would just like to extend that appreciation to you guys. Um, and also, I would like to extend that appreciation to my previous officers of the past 10 years under our international office. So, yes. So, my name is Mohammed Mahbubur Rahman. I am a second year student in Kuliah of Engineering. I'm currently taking a degree in electrical and electronics engineering. So I will be running as a representing myself as a candidate for the international affairs. So in regards to international affairs, we typically mainly deal with um, the inclusivity and the issues faced by international students in IIUM. So in my manifesto, I've comprised of three things. Number one is to address visa application issues in tandem with the visa unit. Now we know that as an international student, we do face a lot of difficulties in regards to um, applying for visa, renewing for visa. So what I want to do, what we want to do as our office is that we want to help ease that those difficulties and any other miscommunications involved in regards to the process as a whole. Number two, we would like to educate international students about financial amenities with the International Welfare Unit. So we know that IUM is really generous with the amount of amenities that they provide to international students, not just international students, but local students as well. So we would, but the issue is that a lot of people they aren't aware of these amenities. So what I want to do is I want to help educate our students and to make them know and understand that these are accessible to them and they have a right to access them as well. And number three, to encourage inclusivity in student societies and provide to insensitize integration between societies, clubs, whether it be international, local, anything else for that matter. It's just to properly be the link and integrate them and you know have each other working towards a focus goal. So yeah, so that's all about it. Um, thank you for.
All right, please give him applause. So thank you for Brother Muhammad Mahmud Rahman for giving his plans and also manifesto that he want to do if, for the next upcoming student union seat. And we're moving forward to our brother Jasdeep Singh Sidhu, which running for the role of the legal affairs office. So without, we will give you the time and please introduce yourself briefly and giving you manifesto. Time is yours.
Okay, first of all, thank you to the moderator and good evening, everyone. So my name is Jasbik. Um, I'm from ICOL, currently in my third year, second semester. And so I'll just briefly tell you about my manifesto for my capacity as in Olaf, as a legal affairs officer. So my manifesto is basically around three visions. The main visions are governance, empowering the union, and also advocacy. So I'll start off with governance. So in terms of governance, the problem that I see in the governance of student union for the current tenure would be inter-office relations, officer issues, officers resign. So it all leads to a lack in human resource policy. Um, so what I can talk about human resource would be currently a human resource department is available under OOP, Office of President, but according to what the Constitution of Student Union provides, Article 6, Subclause 4, provides that any misconduct of officer, any disciplinary issues would have to come back to the Olaf office. So the officer for Olaf would handle it. So what my plans would be is to establish a specific department in Olaf itself to handle human resource issues, which would focus on disciplinary issues and also at the same time drafting a code of conduct. So this code of conduct would govern the officers and also the staff by providing a chain of command. So in terms of governance, another plan is to sustain whatever the current officers have done. So first of all, I'd like to thank Brother Karel and also Brother Fatih. They have done a good work this tenure because they have introduced a new policy, which is an NDA for the staff. So I think I would like to continue that, and it's part of their plan for the future sustainability. And we all know that what we need is a sustainable policies so that the union is more stable in terms of governance, in terms of internal issues. So moving on to my second manifesto is about empowering the union. So when it comes to empowering the union, um, the first agenda would be pushing for MOA, a memorandum of agreement with Iium. So currently, SU has a MOU with Iium, which is in terms of legally speaking, it's not binding on the administration itself. And to have a more power to demand in terms of student rights, in terms of student issues, what we need is a memorandum of agreement that will bind the administration itself. So um, for that, we will look into, we already have a draft of MOA ready in Olaf in this tenure. So I will look into the mechanisms of approaching the administration itself so that we can make it a reality, so that we can have more power to demand for our rights rather than just following the administration and having no say in terms of policies that affect us directly. So another agenda in empowering the union would be legalizing political fronts. So in terms of legalizing political fronts, the issue faced in this tenure was the tenure found that there was no certain framework available to initiate a motion in the parliament. So to overcome that, what my plan would be is to have a framework as soon as possible when I'm in office, and this would include inviting all political fronts to the discussion. It's not only about a certain political front, but it would bring everyone in. So moving on to my last manifesto, it would be advocacy. I'll just keep it short. Okay. So for advocacy, my plan is to engage with other student unions and also use our contacts with our seniors who establish student union itself, both in the national level and also at the international level. Because what we need is to advocate the students that the students should fight for their rights rather than just tweeting about what we think is not right and just keeping quiet. We should fight because students have the power. We are almost 30,000 students in UIA, and if all of us unite, we can make a big difference against the policies. So I think that's all for my manifesto. Thank you.
All right, I want to thank for Brother Justin for giving his manifesto that's quite deeply regarding student matters and involving the legal affairs by asking them deeply and also to know our candidate capacity and what they will do in the near future after they've been elected. So I will be asking one by one from each candidate, starting from Sister Hazira, regarding your candidacy to become Secretary General. So the first question for you, Sister Hazira, as you are aspiring to be the Secretary General, could you share what qualities you believe that is very essential to manage every detail of meeting systematically, as you mentioned on your manifesto and firstly. So can you deeply and also elaborate more about this point?
Test. Okay. So it's regarding on the characteristic of the secretary, like what?
Yes. The how to manage the what is qualities you believe that essential to manage every detail
Okay.
of
So thank you
meeting?
so much
Yeah.
for the question. So I believe as a secretary, the most important qualities to have is that to have passion in the work that you are doing. Because as you all know that secretaries involve a lot of documentation, they involve a lot of meetings. As you all know, when the president is not available, the secretary will be the substitute for the president. So to me, being the secretary general, it really requires a lot of hard work. So I think the most important qualities that a secretary should have is passion, because you need to have passion for the work that you want to do. So when you have passion, you will be sincere when you are doing it. You feel to your heart that you really need to do the job to the fullest. And another qualities that I believe that a secretary should have is to have to be a hardworking person. It really require a lot of your energy, a lot of your time. I've heard that a lot of the SU officers, they tend to say like they put the education like studying as a second thing that in their study, because the first on the top is to serve the student, to be the officers. So I think um, it really require hardworking characteristics, because in the end we have to work for the student. So I believe these two qualities, which is to have passion in your position and also to be hardworking. So
Okay, thank you for your questions. I really appreciate your answer, which is we have to be hardworking person, also a dedicated person. So I think this could be one of the aspiring answer and also one of the good approach to upcoming lineup of student union. So next questions, I will be asking to Brother Mahbub Rahman regarding what is your perspective um, about the constitutional enhancements. Is it what is your perspective on existing constitutional abilities to take IIM student union to the higher level?
Could you repeat that question?
From your point of view or your perspective, what is the constitutional enhancements that are needed to take by IIM student union to the next level?
It will essentially involve just the different offices working in tandem together towards a focused goal. I feel like all the other candidates, all three of us, we have the same vision on where we want to take SU. We all have the same goal of putting the SU's name out there and let everyone know that yes, we exist. Yes, an independent body like us exists, and yes, we will support you. And also to extend that to international student as well. So that's what IO wants to focus on. Is we want to focus on is that we want to put our name out there, and we want to let the international students know that um, we will try our best in regards to uh, whatever I have mentioned in the manifesto. We will try our best to act on those actions and just to facilitate communications, just mediate between parties involved, whether it be between members of different offices, members of different societies, different clubs, just to be able to have that constant communication and have that friendliness and the desire to work towards whatever that we want to achieve. Um, yes, to add on to the constitutional, was it?
uh, constitutional to the higher levels.
Yes.
Sorry, this is my bad.
Right.
Actually, it's addressed to should be to asked by to the brother Justin.
I see.
Yeah, yeah.
I see. No, but that's okay. It's fine. I feel like, whatever questions that you will ask,
Are
we
we
will probably
repeating the questions? Or
it's okay. I mean, we can have brother. Thing is, right. This is a dialogue, so I don't want to make it really, formal. I mean, it should be formal, but as you know, as is a close, safe environment, I want us to be able to be comfortable and to be able to communicate with each other, right? So, I think just you can just take on, add on to whatever I mentioned regarding the constitutional.
All right. So, can you repeat the question?
this is regarding the constitutional enhancements that is needed to be upgraded to the high level by Iium Student Union in the upcoming event.
But does that like mean laws, or what does that mean? Constitutional laws?
Okay. So just to give a brief overview,
Yes,
lah.
okay.
Constitution is basically a law that governs, I would say, society. Like even our university has a constitution,
Okay.
even our student union has a constitution, and any NGO would have a constitution, and we need to abide with it. So in terms of, I would say constitutional um, abilities of the SU, I would say there are two parts of it. One is the student union constitution itself, and also the IIUM constitution. So in terms of the student union constitution, I would say amending the part of like my manifesto just now, putting in the MOA to make it something which is permanent, rather than we need to renew it. Um, let's say like the current MOU expires in 2026. So instead of renewing it on a, I would say 5 years term or 6 years terms, it's better to put it into the constitution itself. So in terms of what SU can do with IIUM is currently in the laws of the university, the highest governing body for a student representative is still SRC, Student Representative Council. It's still SRC, but student union is binded with IIUM by MOU. So basically, what we did was we SRC was I would use the term suspended here, and student union came into the picture as as a force that replaces SRC, but has a higher authority than student union. So what I would say is we could have a demand to the university to put in student union in the constitution itself, replacing SRC. So our position would be more powerful, more permanent, and there would be no option for the university to go back to SRC or any further changes in the future. So that I think is what SU should advocate in terms of realizing a better framework of a constitution. Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. I think it could be one of the interesting approaches, and hopefully it can be managed successfully on the upcoming seat of new lineup of student union. So moving back to the brother Muhammad Mahmud Rahman. So as you know, like as the international students, uh, we often experiencing many issues regarding visa or some issues regarding our uh, activity and our study in UIA. So can you explain the current situation of international students in Malaysia firstly, and the difficulties that they face while study in IIUM?
So, to just give a brief record of my past, before this, during the previous tenure, I was working under our own welfare division under IO. So we mainly handle a lot of visa issues, financial issues, and we've been doing that for a year now. And yes, I do believe there are always issues. Being an international student in IIUM, you face a lot of challenges, not just visa and financial, although they might be the two most important ones, but it's just to be able to integrate yourself into the culture. The language barriers involved, and to be able to mix in well with the community. How do you approach a group of individuals you know, um, who are not open to you, right? That is one of the main issues that international students face here. So that that starts with dialogue, right? We want to understand and learn about these issues. We want to engage in conversations with international students about these issues, right? We want to give them a voice to be able
Be heard.
to be heard, yes, to be able to represent themselves, right? Because all in all, that is what IO is about. So that's what we're supposed to be about, right? People should know that IO exists, and we exist for a reason. We exist for international students, you know, in IIUM. So just previously, before this dialogue, I've indulged with talks with a few of my friends who are also internationals, who are also actually one of them was from Indonesia as well. So yeah, it was a really productive conversation. Um, we really talked about so many issues, and that is what I want to encourage at the end of the day, to have that safe space of being able to conversate, and after we've gained that knowledge of what people experience, what students experience, right, we can propose guidelines to help educate these students and help guide them toward, okay, so basically, if there's a community, filled with locals, how do I integrate myself? Sometimes, being alone, you can't really solve those issues by yourself. So that's what I want IO to be there for, to be someone to be able to give them that guideline and make them feel comfortable. Because I feel like it can't be done. It's just a matter of that constant work and just constant communication and just that effort and the motivation between students. Yeah.
So I want to clarify this. What do you mean by safe place for students?
It's just that it's just a safe environment to be able to vent about your issues or whatever that you face in your day-to-day lives, especially in IIUM, whether it be in campus or off campus, right? So just stuff like that in general, just to provide that space of being able to talk with each other, right? And stuff.
Okay, thank you for your approach and also your answer. So give him applause. So we back to Sister Hazira. The second questions regarding your candidacy for the Secretary General. So what do you think is the improvement that needs and what you suggest to in the IU Student Union in, inside the organizations that to ensure that the bureaucratic system can be functioning well and also smoothly? So do you have any suggestion regarding this, the bureaucratic system inside?
So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So for that question, so I realized that one of the problem or one of the issue that happening in the SU is in unnecessary bureaucracy. I mean, we don't deny that we need bureaucracy. In the end, we need bureaucracy because there is always procedures, there is always rules. But what we need to do is to ensure that there is no unnecessary bureaucracy. So I highlighted in my manifesto where I talk about the miscommunication in the IIMSU, which caused the inefficiency of the student union. So I believe that as a secretary, I need to ensure that I want to reduce the miscommunication, and I want to ensure that I mentioned before that I want to ensure that everyone really understand their job scope. I want all the officers they are doing what they need to do, and they really understand what they really need to do. So um, regarding that question, I believe that the most important thing that need to be done by the secretary is to ensure that the communication is going well, to ensure that the SU will work in the efficient way. So I think that's all for my answer.
So, for your answer, like, do you think that the communication is the first, the essential part to address this issue, right?
Yeah, because the secretary office, they understand what is going on in all offices. So I believe that it's really my responsibility that and to ensure that everyone is communicating with each other to ensure that everyone really know what they are doing. Yeah.
All right, thank you for your answer. So we are moving back to Brother Justice. So, as an ICO student and a candidate for the Officer of Legal Affairs in the Student Union, so what is the importance of Iium Student Union to ensure that the existing also constitutions is in line and also with the rules set by ROAs? What do you think about these questions and this issue?
Okay, thank you for the question. First of all, can you just specify a bit on the term about rules from ROS? Or is it just in general?
Just in general,
Just in general, okay.
because the specific question will be asked by the audience after this.
All right, so if I may answer generally, um, basically ROS is the Registrar of Societies and Student Union is registered with ROS to establish legitimacy. So what when it comes to constitution, this is a bit tricky lah. This is purely legal stuff, and SU is governed by I would say two concurrent constitutions. One is from ROS itself. So basically, when we go to ROS to register society, ROS will provide us a template of what the constitution would be for the society itself. So in that template, there would be matters pertaining to EGM, matters pertaining to audit, matters pertaining to overview of the society itself, and also general stuff like the address and the aims, the visions, and everything. So, but in terms of the constitution that we refer to internally, the IIUMSU constitution, it focuses more on internal governance matters. So, for example, just now I quoted in my manifesto Article 6.4, which gives power to Office of Legal Affairs to set up a disciplinary committee in terms where there will be an investigating officer. There will also be another three officers who will listen to complaints um, coming in from staff, coming in from officers about any misconduct of officers, misconduct of staff. So this is not provided in the ROS constitution, but this is provided in the constitution that we use internally. So the internal constitution provides a framework of how we administer ourselves. So, and another point to add is this is also a vision that I believe generally everyone has, is to so that IUMSU can have its own profitable business for the students. So the RMS constitution provides for it that as you can hold movable property, as you can hold assets, as you can conduct business to generate income. So that income can be used for the welfare of the students, to help students, and also to carry out the day-to-day administration of the SU. So I think the importance to abide with rules set by ROS is to ensure that our legitimacy is um, continued. Because if we don't follow legally, if we don't follow what ROS has set out, we can usually the procedure with ROS is they will call us for explanation, and eventually, if there's any misconduct, we can even be deregistered under the Register Societies Act. So that's I think briefly about the rules set by ROS and the importance of following it.
Thank you for your answers. Very nice answer. So I think that your understanding regarding the legals and also ROS regulations is really good, and I hope this could be contribute to the upcoming lineup of student union. So the next questions we will be asking to Brother Mamur Rahman, also regarding his role in international students. So what do you think of the international students? Also, me, also one of the international students in IUM. So, what is the potential do you see among the international students that can be developed to form one of the peaceful and also respectful community inside IUM, like not be divided into community, but all the community they can be united as the one community.
So there's a part of my manifesto regarding the third point where we want to engage and not just engage with societies, but we want to be able to make sure that other societies can engage with other societies as well. So, say for example, Indonesian society, right? We want to, yes, we want to be, we will engage with all these societies, and then we can be the bridge for them to engage with other societies as well, in regards to maybe events, social events, or just getting to know each other in general. Because I feel like that is that is what has been really lacking. Um, Amongst the recent years, for international clubs and societies in general. Brother, I just wanted to ask you, since you are an international student, yes, um, what year are you in?
Society, you mean?
No, as in the university. Are you third year or second year?
The final year students.
Final year students. Okay, so based on your experiences in being an IWM, what can you give me a challenge or something that you have experienced that troubled you as an international student being an IUM?
So I think that's one of the things that should be addressed, and one of the issue like there is still a gap between international student and also local students. Is it right?
Yes, yes. I think we can all agree to
I
that.
don't know, but is it even experiencing by all of the student? Even though like we are talking, we are speaking with the same. We also have same culture like Indonesia and Malaysia, but like there is still a gap. I don't know. Even though we have similarity in terms of language and culture, but
Yes.
we will still have a gap between Indonesia and Malaysia. So I think this could be to be addressed in the upcoming lineup, and also I think what is the possible solutions, and it's the easiest thing to erase and also to just to enhance the relationship between all of the that gaps.
So, brother, so this is exactly what I want to achieve. Is that this dialogue of you having this voice right now to be able to express your opinions among to the crowd, right?
So
In
you mean
general.
dialogue like
Yes,
like
something like
it's
this.
open dialogue.
Yes, open dialogue to give you a voice, to give you that assurability that whatever you say or do um, is nothing to be, you know, judged for, right? Because
This could be
as an international student, we have a right to express our opinions as well, right? So this is exactly this question and answers, right, between two parties, say between me as an officer and you as a representative of the Indonesian society, right? This is the type of dialogue that I want to achieve, and I feel like this is the type of dialogue that not just me as an international officer wants to achieve, but also the officers over here that want to achieve between um, their representatives and just what SU wants to achieve as a whole. So, what can it be improved on? So, we should think of this as be a little bit realistic. Obviously, it will require a lot of work and a time to be able to solve that issue. But we
not
can
just in months, right?
yes, but we can start with baby steps. But it's just that this simple conversation is the start of something that can gradually turn into something major, turn into something that is meaningful and powerful, and just to be able to give you that voice right now is that is what I'm willing to provide, and that is what I strive to provide as an officer of international affairs.
Okay, I think student union would be in the right hands, and so give him applause. And I think this approach by having a dialogue between the international student and also local students would be one of the possible kind of issues and also problems that exist have been existing for many years in our campus.
Exactly, brother.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for
So
adding on to that.
we are back to our Sister Hazira, and the last questions that we'll be asking for you. So based on your point of view or based on your uh, experience, what is the importance of the Iium Student Union's organization to adapt and also communicate with the Iium managements proactively in the future? From your point of view, do you think that what is the importance of the student unions to adapt and also having a good communication with the IUM management? So do you think this is could be good in the near future
So the
or
question
should be
is,
enhanced more?
so you mean that um, do I believe the importance of having the relationship between the SU and the management?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for the question. So regarding that question, I would say that I won't deny that we need that we need to have the relationship with the administration. But in the end, we all goes back to the union, like what we want in the end, which is to serve the students. So I believe that when it comes to the administration, when the decision benefit the student, then I'm okay with that. But when it doesn't benefit the student, then is the time for us, the union, to speak for the students. So I think yeah, I would say that it's important to have that relationship, but in the end, it all goes back to the student. So it depends on what situation, like uh, whatever decision they make, I will try to ensure if that really benefit the students. And also, I would like to quote from Brother Jasdeep Manifesto where he talk about the MOA. So I believe that that is a good initiative that could be done that will ensure that the students' rights be bring forward. So that's all for my answer.
Okay, thank you for your answers. Very interesting. So the next questions to Brother Justin regarding your candidacy for legal affairs. So what is the long-term strategy can you suggest to ensure that IM Student Union Constitution remains relevant for a long period of time, not in just a short period of time, could be used for a long period of time? What do you think about this?
Okay, in terms of um, I would say the lifespan of the constitution itself.
Yes.
So I don't think what matters is the lifespan of the constitution. What matters is the lifespan of the union. Because if there is a union, there would be a framework, there would be a governance body, there would be a
Right.
constitution. So what we need to ensure on the other hand is the sustainability of the union, the usefulness of the union to fight for the student rights. So I would say that, for example, let me draw um, reference from the recent protests in US, where we see students coming down in universities across US.
Like Ivy Leagues.
Yes, they are fighting for the Palestinian cause. So I would say that is what unionism is about. That is what we should do. So just for the audience, just to give a exposure a bit. So like me and Sister Hazira, we basically have the same mindset that we should have a sustainable union. We should have a union that fights for the student rights. We should have a union that is inclusive. So when I say inclusive, it again refers to what Brother said just now about international students. So I would say unionism doesn't matter to your nationality, to your religion, to your skin color, your race, your language that you speak. It refers to the spirit. So what we need to ensure is the spirit of unionism lives in all students. So we need to make the student union more relevant. So how to make it more relevant is to show that we do care for the students. That would be in terms of welfare, that would be in terms of catering for international students, catering for the legal rights of the union with the management. So basically, demanding the management that we have a say in the university, because again, it comes to the um, root issue that we are the biggest stakeholder in the university. If there are no students, there is no university. So we should be together, and we should be more steadfast for making sure that the union is more sustainable in the long term. Yeah.
Thank you for your answer. I think your forward-thinking strategy is really commendable and relevant to our current issue. So, yeah, your long-term planning also is really important and should be taken note. Last questions for our brother Abu Rahman. So, as one was as just single candidate for office of international affairs, what you think the responsibilities to you have to carry out to ensure that the welfare of the international student community that can be well looked after, as mentioned by brother.
Well, I'm going to be honest. It is a huge responsibility, and a role like this requires people around you that you can trust and rely on. So that is the foundations on giving you the ability to carry out your um, the work that we want to do, right? And we can talk all we want, but at the end of the day, it's the work that counts. So we want to be able to, you know, have a platform to be able to show that we are actually doing the work, and by doing the work, then things are, you know, moving towards a better direction. So yeah, it is a big responsibility, but I believe that with with my determination and the vision that I see, in the context of where we can actually be as students of IIUM, right? The brotherhood, the foundations that have been set up by Professor Kamal San, in terms of the triple ICE, Islamization, internationalization, integration, comprehensive excellence, things like that, things that align with, you know, one of our founders. And I see that we are capable of it, but it will require a lot of work, and hopefully, with your support and and if everything goes well, inshallah, the SU, the IO, us as a whole, as a union, we will be able to achieve our goals and um, work towards a better future for the students.
Right. Thank you for your questions. So I would like to appreciate for all of our candidates, which Sister Hazira, Brother Mahmud Rahman, also Brother Justin, for their responding for each questions given for them. So now I will open the floor for questions to all of the participants today. If you have any questions regarding manifesto, the plans, what the strategies, and also anything else regarding their position and role in upcoming seat of IUM Student Union, you could be asking me now.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. Hi everyone, Assalamualaikum. My name is Azri. Final year, I call student. So, alright, before I drop my question to particularly to Justin, I just want to say that I really enjoyed the discussion just now, but I was actually expecting more of a question. I mean, um, being directed to Justin, not only revolve around constitutional matters, because I believe that legal affairs of an NGO actually also covers the issue of updating policies, bylaws, rules, regulations, and it's not just limited to constitutional matters. And also maybe more of a question relating to how a legal officer can be enhanced to become a licensed officer to the government, or just to make sure that SU can grow bigger, especially on the national scale. But that's that. I'm just gonna drop that um, for now. So going back to Just Deep, I'm particularly attracted to your manifesto regarding the MOA replacing MOU in the future. So as much as I'm happy that that's actually an officer or an individual actually wanting to bring a fresh idea to the table for the union, for the sustainability of the union, I also would want to know better of your plans and how would you want to realize that? How would you actually plan um, to convince the university and things like that? Maybe I hope you can answer the question. Thank you so much.
Alright, thank you so much, brother. First of all, yeah, I agree with you that in terms of Olaf, the job scope should be enhanced, and I hope this could be like taken into view, and I think this would be one of the discussion points also when we go into the tenure lah. So coming back to your question is how do I want to realize the part where I'm talking about MOA? Because we know MOA is when we talk about MOA, it's gonna be um, demanding from the university that we are given more autonomy, more rights, and more power to demand and more power to have a say. So, in terms of that, I would like to draw reference to my friend's manifesto. We have Brother Infant there, candidate for VP1 for Gombak. So, if, I really appreciate his initiatives under his manifesto, which is unionizing Gombak. So, what I think his manifesto holds an importance that when he talks about unionizing Gombak, we have to unionize each and everyone in Gombak itself. So I believe that he has also, we have discussed further on this about bringing KPSC and bringing MRC into the role, into the play, where we might maybe come into agreement with them, draft the MOU with them, so that we have a more united voice to fight for the MOA rather than student union going alone. So, but in our plan, student union would remain as in the agreement, the highest student authority. But as we all know, KPSC is each basically carries the voice of each kuliah. So we need to go kuliah by kuliah to make sure that first of all, non-ICOR students wouldn't. I would not say they don't understand, but we need to educate them about the importance of an MOA. Because if you go to, I even talked this with my friends. I had discussions before drafting up my manifesto, and they were like, "What is an MOA? Why do we want to change from an MOU? Since we already have an MOU, why are you like cracking your head to do an MOA?" So that's where advocacy comes into play. So again, I would say going kuliah to kuliah, unionizing Gombak, and also making sure that we don't leave out Pagu and Kuantan, because they are as much as a union as much as we. They are our equal partners. So having discussions with the representatives from kuliahs in Kuantan and Pagu, from the student union in Kuantan and Pagu, as well as drawing in, for example, the founding fathers of the union, drawing in representatives from the government, Kementerian Pengajian Tinggi, Ministry of Higher Education, maybe the Prime Minister's office, and maybe our constitutional head, and also having discussions with unions that have been established for decades. For example, in Indonesia, for example, in Singapore, for example, in the UK. So that would be among of my plans, and um, I would assure everyone that that's going to be one of the priorities when we go into office, go into the tenure, to draft up everything as soon as possible. And from my part, as the Officer of Legal Affairs, we will provide a quarterly update, if not monthly, about the progress of what we have done to show more transparency, to show that whatever that is promised now is sustainable, is done. It's not just a rhetoric, but it's something that would turn into a reality. So I think that's it. Thank you.
That's hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Izatul. I just want to ask on behalf of from the IG Live video, which is the question is for the Secretary General. So the question goes like, how do you wish for good governance that IIMSU should have? thank you so much for the question. So regarding the good governance, so I think what I imagine of the good governance in the SU is that where the officers, they are, I wouldn't say that they have bonding, but what I want to have is that they know each other, they really connect with each other, they are not just doing their job there, but they really know each other so that they can do the work smoothly. So I think we all have experience where we are in the organization, right? So when we are in the organization and we don't feel like we belong there, we cannot do the job like with sincerely. So I believe that um, the SU that I imagine is that where we connect with each other, we friend with each other, and also with that it can also ensure that there is the communication, smooth communication within the offices. So I think that's all for my answer.
Okay. My question is towards Justine. My question basically is a two-pronged question. What is the incentive for the university itself to accept the MOA? And I find it very difficult for you to provide an incentive to them. And what is your contingency if it does not go through? Are you just willing to continue with an MOU?
Okay, thank you so much for your question, brother. So that is always already been taught by me because certainly no one would like to empower your partner. I would not say partner. The university wouldn't like to empower us, but it's about losing something so that students can gain something. So how? What is my contingency plan? I would say in realistically speaking, um, at the moment there is no contingency plan because our focus is to get an MOA. Because what we want is students, right? It's not about just coming up with a manifesto and then we have a backup plan if the manifesto doesn't turn out. So what benefit can we offer to the university? Okay, so in terms of benefits, what we can do is I would give an example in terms of monetary lah. So for now, like I would say the IIUM Student Union, I would say building Wadi Budi. So at the moment, it is owned, it is run by the university itself. So we are an NGO that uses the building, and let's say when we have an MOA, we would seek that we have autonomy to administer the whole building itself. Even get more autonomy to have the when we have a cafe in Wadi, so maybe get 100% of the profit from the cafe. And let's say we in return we could pay for the Wadi Budi itself. And also another benefit would be making the university more holistic, I would say. For now, what um, I plan is to have a discussion with the administration and certainly put on the table what can we benefit and what can they benefit instead of just going there and saying I want an MOA. So in terms of having a holistic administration together with the student union would mean um, what benefits in terms of international recognition IIUM could get. Because if IIUM administration signs the MOA, it will be the first in Malaysia. So that would set high standards in terms of truly making IIUM an international university in terms of what student unions in UK have, student unions in Singapore, in UK have. So I think it would be because at the end of the day, it's a two-way bridge. What um, we can offer them, they can offer us. So we would certainly, in legal terms, we would certainly look at the clauses in the MOA. Maybe we will reach I would say, a compromise, but not at the value of losing student rights, because student rights is the number one priority in the MOA. So we will look into it because the university has its own office of legal affairs and everything. So I think that would be the answer for now. So if you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to have it.
I feel like this discussion could go on for hours because the issue is that you're selling it to us as students, right? But I still do not see what chips you can bring to the table towards the university. I mean, yeah, you have the chip that you could be a pioneer, you could be looked at as an actual international university, and things like that. However, from the recent events, from the recent way that the university was taken is handling international students, it doesn't seem like they care. It doesn't seem like they care that much about their international reputation nowadays. Or else things would not have reached the way that they reached right now. So again, I understand that you can't really expand and say everything over here. This is a general thing. But man, it's good that we have this dialogue at the very beginning. At the very least, you're sticking to your ideals that you're not going to lose the rights of the students to buy into to an MOA that's gutted out of all the power that it should enable students. So I'm glad about that at the very least.
All right, just to add to your follow-up explanation just now, what I plan to have is town hall discussions. So it will involve all the stakeholders, not only um, the university administration, but we will call in student bodies. We will call in, like my manifesto just now, legalizing political fronts. We will call in the fronts. We will call in the international students. Like all international students have their own societies according to the countries. So what are their demands? What are the issues they face? So then I think there would be a task force, and I believe that is also related to welfare. If we come towards international students, even local students, because the issue of the university not properly handling the issues regarding students is never ending. We could look at facilities, the visa issues, and also the tuition fees for international students. So all of that can be, um, I would say, realized if we come to a discussion. Because if we discuss through, I would say, election dialogue, it would go on for hours. So I would say it would be a series of discussions, and also the drafting would take into consideration of everyone's rights rather than just focusing on locals. It will focus on the whole society. Yeah.
Yes, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Atik Kusama. I'm from Department of History and Civilization, Healthcare Education. So I have a question for you, Brother Mahbubur, as a candidate for international office. As we know, our IIM stands for International Islamic University Malaysia, and as brother over there also asked the question. So as we know, uh, right now the trend of the coming of the international student to our beloved IIM is decreasing, and before this we can saw and if we can ask our alumni, we can saw the 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 international and local student are, can say, balanced, but right now somehow the local student are more become the majority of the student, and right now I'm afraid that IUM will become not International Islamic University of Malaysia, but National Islamic University of Malaysia. So my question to you, Brother Mahbubur, what is your initiative as international officer to overcome this problem? That's all. Thank you, Mr. Welcome.
First of all, Salam, before I answer your question, can we have a small round of applause to this brother here as being one of the only international students, you know, being engaging in a dialogue, engaging in this event, engaging in this conversations. So that is the answer to your questions. Me as an international officer, and our duty as an international office is to be able to inspire international students to be able to engage in events like this, in events that involve, whether it be politics, it involves, events, clubs, societies, things like this that will impact students as a whole. So that the engagement really matters here, and we want to be able to provide that belief and just determination, motivation, give them that motivation for them to attend these events. So this is where it starts. It's um, obviously, I do address that there is a decline of international students here, but to solve those issues will require a huge amount of time and effort. But this is where we can start. By encouraging international students to engage in these conversations, by giving them, a platform to ask questions to local students, whether it be local students, international students, just to make them feel involved, you know. And if we do that continuously, I believe that there will be a shift in trend, and hopefully, the interest among international, the outlook of international people or people from overseas, the outlook of them towards the international university will change. Because at the end of the day, international students that are actively engaged in this, when they graduate, they're not going to stay here. They're going to go back to their countries, right? So when they're engaged in these type of activities, they're able to share their experiences, and through those sharing of experiences, they're able to gain other people are gain that knowledge and understanding that yes, IIUM is actually doing good things. They're actively engaging. These students, making them feel involved. So that is what I want to achieve uh, through my tenure, and hopefully that answers your question. Thank you.
Testing, testing. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. By the way, it's very nice to meet you for the first time, Brother Mahbubur.
Oh, thank you.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Um, because we know that in IUM, international students face perhaps a lot of problems regarding they themselves as international students.
Problems like what, sir? If you
For
could
example,
elaborate.
like uh, because I'm not an international student, the only
Through your
problem
experience,
the only problem that I know is regarding the visa problem.
Yes,
And
yes,
during the past tenures,
yes,
the demonstration happened in
yes,
IUM, and I think that is a very huge problem
yes,
that the union itself need to cater on that issue.
yes.
So my question is, this is direct to you. How political are you to solve problem regarding the international students problem? So I guess I think that's clear. Like okay, perhaps I can expand it.
Brother, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm literally an engineering student. I don't know nothing
No,
about
no, no,
politics.
because you are holding the
Yes,
international office,
yes,
and when you become the
yes,
officer, you are responsible in all the international students matter. And my question is, into what extent will you take action towards the administration or perhaps the government of Malaysia
yes,
regarding the international students? So
yes.
yeah, that's my question.
So, were you here during the start of the event, brother? Were you here during the start of the event when I mentioned my manifesto? So yeah, let me just repeat. So basically, number
Okay.
one on my manifesto is that I would obviously would like to, solve these visa issues by liaising with the parties involved. And when it comes to action, before that, there's a lot of steps involved for us to be able to take, go to that extent. But the start, it requires inquiry. It requires data collection. It requires surveillance. Not just from international students, but the opinions of national, local students as well, because your opinion matters as well. And you guys are also, the majority, studying here as well. And other than that, we want to inquire to administrators that are involved with this, or regarding the international office of IIUM, the visa unit of IIUM, to mediate and liaise with them, you know, through these constant communications, and hopefully try to come to some sort of understanding, and hopefully we'll be able to resolve these issues. And in the terms of actions, I mean, I feel like we should start off strategically, as in with what we can do right now. But um, in terms of action, which I hope that we won't be, pushed to that decision. We want to be able to make sure that through communication and active dialogue, we can solve these issues firsthand. Because that is that I believe is the main gap. Is that whenever you ask an international student about whether it be visa issues, or whether it be financial issues. The number one thing that they will tell you is that I didn't know, right? Those three words are really common, and what I faced during my tenure in IO. So that is what I want to fix. First of all, I want the students to be able to be aware of the processes, to be able to aware on how they approach these administrators to solve their issues, right? And we want to communicate with administrators as well that, these are IIUM students, and you have a responsibility to, facilitate their issues and help solve them as soon as possible because, you know, um, we as international students, it's in terms of financials, it's in terms of the cost of living here, it's really tough, to continue your education, to be able to, having to deal with your academics, your visa, your stay, it's all tough. So we want to um, inform that to them, and just give them an overview, and make them understand that yes, these students are facing issues, and hopefully in that way we can resolve most of the situations that typically happen in regards to stuff.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Mahmur. I appreciate your answer. So that you said that uh, your action is to like dialogue with the admin, have a good relationship with admin, and also like have a discussion to solve the issue, right? Am
Yes,
I right?
yes.
So meaning that is that your limitation? Meaning that is that your limitation regarding your action to solve problem?
In regards to limitations, obviously, communication with other office members are essential because Olaf has a part in this. Secretary Generals. Yes, yes, you can add on to it as well because this also involves the legality of the situation. So it is important for us officers to liaise what can we do, what we can't do as well. So if Brother Justine can add on to that.
Alright, so if I may add to that, speaking as a courtesy from Olaf, what we can do for that problem is basically the structure of IIUM itself, there is a board of governors. So in that board of governors, there are representatives from each OIC members. Each embassy send their own representative to the board of governors that decide on the university itself. So I would say, if to add on what Brother Mabur said just now, um, if there is an option, maybe the international students can take this up to the embassies that we are facing these issues. You have a representative in the board of governors. Please bring this issue into the meeting. So in terms of legal, we can like work together with an office to provide that assistance that you can go up to this level, use this way of like
To help liaise and basically be the bridge between embassies and societies in general. So
So I think
it not only involves one office, but it involves every single office in terms of working together and fixing these issues as well. So we wanted to.
yeah, so if I may add, I think it would require, like from my point of view, a cooperation between all officers. Because um, perhaps the international students are not so aware of the legal process of making their demands heard to the higher authority. So that's where advocacy from Olaf would come into play. That's where the process from, let's say, the Secretary General can be more transparent on how the chain of command works. And maybe, let's say, the Vice President can bring up the voices of the students from each campus. So that's why I think um, it would be a more it would require more cooperation from each and every office rather than one office just working alone. So that's why I think the idea of unionism comes in again. Yeah.
Yeah, that is what essentially would be part of the union as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Mahmur and Brother Jasdeep, and congratulations for the seat.
Thank you so much for your questions.
Hello and very good evening to everybody here. My name is Farish. I'm a first year second sem student, and I was actually really impressed with how our brother Muhammad Mahabubur speaks and how he critically thinks. And here's my question. So I have a friend here, and he's an international student, and I just read that he recently decided to quit from Ireland because he didn't get the course that he likes. I know this thing may be out of
Yes,
the
I have encountered issues like that
yeah.
before as well.
So
Yes.
as you're aware, how will you approach this question? If it become a problem, it will also become a problem for international office and also our reputation as international Islamic University in Malaysia, right? So how will you approach it?
Well, it's all the same process. It's to be able to inform, and work together as different offices, and just to address these issues firsthand, right? And people like you, we want to hear your issues. We want to hear what what your international friends face with, the problems that you face. We need more people like you, and I feel like if we just encourage that behavior, right? Encourage that behavior of asking these questions like, why is it so hard to change courses? Why is it so hard to apply for scholarships? Why is it so hard to apply for renewal? Right? These conversations are important, and obviously it really involves bringing up these issues to the administration, and letting them know that yes, these issues are prevalent, and they need to be dealt with, right? So it's just proper, liaising, mediating between two parties involved, and just helping just to gain that understanding, and dissolve any miscommunication that might happen, you know, um, throughout like the whole process and whatever. So basically, what courses did he? Could you just tell me a bit more about that situation?
So basically, he's also from HS.
Yes.
He took HS in foundation,
Yes.
also me. So we became close friends, and I right now in political science.
Right.
He wants to take sociology, but he gets political science, and he didn't like it.
Is it because the administrative didn't allow him to
That
switch
one
courses?
I don't know because
Yes.
until today I didn't get any information from
Yes.
him or WhatsApp or whatever
Yes.
he may give.
Yes. So, brother, that's the thing. Information is key, right? If you want to present an issue, right, it is your duty to be able to gather all the information as possible so that we can understand what is actually the cause of this. Why is this happening, right? So that, and then we can move on to, and then we can liaise those issues to administrative. So, students have responsibility to gather information as well. But, if you have any issues or whatnot, you're free to, our office is always there. Wadi Buri is always there, and that is where, you know, the just the knowing that IO people from IO are here and they are there for you, right? You know who to go to. It's just that basic knowing of who are the members, what are they involved in, what type of work they do. We want to shine the lights on, what we actually do, so that you can approach us in this in just a casual form and address your issues, and so we can take those issues and just transfer it on and mediate and liaise with administrations involved, and hopefully come to some sort of result. And you know yeah, yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Hopefully, like maybe perhaps the student union itself can actually advocate for this kind of issue because um, in particularly I'm very sad because
Yes, where was he from, brother?
Myanmar.
Myanmar, yes.
Maybe perhaps from his own country's
Okay.
issues, but I'm very sad about
Yes,
it.
yeah, it really is a sad cause, not just, a simple issue of change of program, finance, visa, these, a slight, a slight, just, slight, what's the word called? Just a slight, disadvantage, huh? Slight miscommunication, just a slight, what's that, something bad happens to you, what is that? Mishap, right? Just a slight mishap can just change the course of a student's life, and that is insane to think. And we want to be able to, before people or students come to that decision of changing their direction completely. Before that, we want to be able to be there, be involved, and hopefully you know prevent them from doing decisions like this, so that such decisions you know they don't have to be you know, they're not needed, right? Because
very much for
Thank you so
giving
much.
chance to talk such a stuff. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
So we still have time. So do you have any other questions? As you have,
I just wanted to add on. It's just these conversation is how people are able to know that what SU and IO actually does. So by engaging in these conversations, you're able to share experiences with other people that yes as I ask them about this and they're willing to help and that willingness planting that seed inside all the students' minds is really a good way to show people that yes we are here to help and we're actually here to do the work for the students.
so maybe I want to ask a question for you all, but I think maybe one of you can be voluntarily answer, or maybe all of you.
I feel like sister should take the last question because she's inclined.
I don't know. It's related to whom. So, firstly, personally, I think like in the recent years, the sense of belongings and also the sense of unionism, and also the sense of political awareness between the students in IAUM is really decreasing. Meaning that the trend of political awareness between students is really decreasing. Um, for example, like before during the IRKHS, if I'm not mistaken, uh, elections, that participation, even the political science students' participation in the IRKHS election is really low comparing to others major, comparing to others faculty or kuliah like Quran Sunnah also big. Even though every day we are engaged and also we are learning about political ideas, political thoughts, and so on and so forth. So I think what is the problem of this issue, firstly? And the second thing, do you think what is the possible solutions that all of you can contribute to solve this problem?
Sister, do you want to start?
Okay, thank you so much. So basically, the question is like the decreasing of the students' participation in the campus politics, right?
Yes,
Okay.
regarding
So
this.
yeah, I agree with that. That in the recent years, we can see that students are slowly not participating in the campus election, and we can also see in the voters turnout. And sadly, in the recent IKHS election, is very low the voters turnout. So uh,
Um,
what,
do you think what is the
yeah,
problem
okay.
of
I would say that
the main cause?
this could be the reason because of the pandemic itself, because you can see that the decreasing could be seen after the pandemic, where students start to feel like they are not into campus politics. They just want to focus on their study. They want to catch up on their study. They want to focus on their financial issues and so on. So they think that campus election is not close to them. Well, actually, politics really revolve around us. No matter what we do, trying to run away from politics, it always catch us. So I think that's one of the reason. And we always heard about the 3K students with KP, class, and Katin. They go to bed. So I think it's really sad to see that the decreasing of the students' participation. And also to answer the second question is that I think I have used this answer back in the campus one time before during the Central Seat campus tour. So I believe that by legalizing political funds, it actually can improve the participation of the students, because we live in a democratic country. We want to foster democracy in the uh, university. Like, we want to increase the participation. So I believe that by legalizing the political funds, it could actually help increase the student participation. This is by looking at the national level politics, where we can see that in the national politics, many people involved, right? But not in campus politics. Why? Because we can see that in the national level, we have the different political parties. They tend to incline to certain political parties that match with their ideology. So I believe that we can actually implement that in the university level, where we can have the different political parties with different ideologies. We can foster democracy. So actually, when students, they have their idea, they have what they believe in. So by having these different political funds in the university, can actually involve students' participation. So I believe that's all my answer.
Okay, I would certainly second what Azira said just now. And just to add from my perspective, I think why the main cause of why students don't participate, I would say, in campus politics is that um, the politics in the campus are getting unhealthy at the moment, I would say. They are more, for example, I just got this from one of my international student friends, that a recent, some programs which they say are for advocacy of campus politics are done in Malay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is something that we would want to solve as well. It's just that disparity between.
You elaborate more about this?
Yeah.
So they say when it's done in Malay purely, they can't understand what is being told, what is being delivered. So I think that's where all fronts, groups that claim themselves as fronts, student fronts, they should be more
Okay.
open. I think it's active. It's a very basic thing. It's an international university.
And just be mindful and aware
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. It should be like more sensitive towards it. And also, based on discussions from my friends, they say politics in the campus are getting to a stage where they are focusing on petty issues. They are coming down personal. They are coming down to, I would say, when they lose in terms of, I would not say they lose, when there is some um, competition is a good thing. We need competition in any post. Even in our studies, we need the competition so that we are inspired to do more. But
Right.
the competition needs to be healthy. It doesn't mean that we should come down to a competition where we disgrace someone else. We do something and then we don't claim it. We run away from it. So I think
Accountability is important.
so I think that's the main issues that we face in campus politics, and solutions to it would be same like Sister Hazira said, legalizing political fronts. To I think students will have a chance to picking sides, because as long as students pick sides, that's the most important part. Choosing between what is right, what is wrong, it's up to them. As long as they participate, that's what matters the most. And also having, I'll say, programs that are more inclusive rather than just um, inviting a certain party and then using, like just now, like brother said, just a Malay language or just certain issues. So I think that would be a more open solution.
Yes, and we want to increase that outreach. So not just a select group of people that know about a certain event. We want to be able to know that all students are familiar and know that such an event is going on as well. So its outreach is also important as well. So yeah, so I don't think I would add more onto that because Brother Justine articulated that pretty well. So I think we can end it off on that as well.
I think all of you have the same same answer regarding the unhealthy of the political awareness and also political situation in the campus, and also regarding legalizing political forms. And I think it's really important to having the political forms to be legalized in campus. So yeah, so you guys still enjoying the sessions? So do you have any question more to be more close and also to know about maybe the last question? Oh, we still have 15 minutes more. So one question. Ask one question. The last question.
Yeah, sure. Again, I noticed that everybody kept introducing themselves. So I'm Rashid Babikar. I'm from Sudan. I'm a third year student in engineering, mechanical engineering specifically.
Assalamu alaikum.
So again, I still regarding this specific question, you guys kept saying flowery language. I still see no teeth. I still see no plan of action, because you guys kept saying that like indifference is the main issue. Like students are indifferent. Yeah, I'm still indifferent because I see that student union does not really change whatever, does not really affect me that much. Even the tuition cuts that should be such a monumental thing, it's not going to affect my tuition. So it's not changing anything towards me. So far in the 3 years that I've been here, first of all, the first year I spent it not even knowing that there's a student union. The second year I spent it I spent it looking up and seeing, okay, what does a student union even do?
Yes.
And I still have not seen much of what they're doing. Like when there was a poll about asking what the issues of the students are, they were like, when they finally give a progress report of what the students reported, it was the toilets and the toilets being bad. So is that really the extent of the issues in our universities, that the toilets are bad? So, so then again, like you guys keep saying like politicizing what was it? Legalizing the political parts. What does that look like? Like you guys, what I see right now is that you guys are all talking the hall, but outside the hall, I see no action being done. So
So, brother, forget about your past experiences with the SU. Make it so that today, after today, that you will gain a different understanding and idea of what SU really means as a whole, right? And that's what I encourage all of you to do as well. As in, through this dialogue session, please go out there and share your experience about this event, and let them know that yes, you know, the candidates, what they're up to, what are they doing, what do they want to be involved in, you know, that maybe you've learned something new today. It's something that you could take out from the event. Just let your friends know, because that is the best way that we can increase outreach and let people know and fix that issue of, you know, people not knowing what SU actually does. So in regards to the legal help friends, I think I'll pass it to Justine for Olaf.
Well, I think I have nothing to add on legalizing political fronts, but what I would say is there is a need of awareness in terms of um, okay, I'll give you an example. It's let's say it's easy for me to let Hazi know about student union. I can speak Malay to her. I can speak English to her. But let's say suddenly there is one of my friends from um, I would say Japan, for example. Okay, I have a friend from Japan. So her English is not so into that I could use heavy terminology, like I would say legalizing political fronts. That's the heavy terminology. So what we need is a medium that we need representatives from everyone. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't use a certain language for a certain thing, but it should be something that everyone in the hall can understand. If let's say even one person is left out, the message is not reached. The medium is not completed. So I think inclusivity is important, again, to make awareness important. So when we are aware, then legalizing political fronts would show the real benefit of it. So we are not just going to like legalize political fronts just for let's say 100 people, because we have 30,000 students. So we need the 30,000 students to be aware of what legalizing political fronts mean, what student activism means, what this activism can benefit them, what these groups can benefit them. And there are students that I know that stay neutral. So being neutral is also important because they will provide a check and balance to everyone. So I think that's where I think awareness comes into picture, and certainly there would be there needs to be a, I would say, cross um, expertise approach. That means let's say a student from, let's say I'm from econ and someone is from political science. So the political science, they would know the approach to politics. I wouldn't know the approach to politics, but I would know the approach legally speaking. In legal terms, I would know the approach. So that needs to be a harmonization between everyone so that we can work together to achieve a common goal. Yeah.
And I hope that we can start it here after this dialogue session, inshallah.
So yeah, so as I get from your point, like you mean emphasizing on the collaborative works between all the stakeholders and also parties. So yeah, and I'm really appreciate for all of your response and also answer. So as we conclude our today's dialogue and also sessions for Iium student mediums dialogue between three candidates for General Secretary and also Olaf and International Office. So also I would like to express my gratitude and also my appreciations to our sisters, Sister Hazira and also our brother
Guru and also our brother Justin. So please give them the huge applause for them. And I think all of you now are very well informed and also really know deeply about who would be your representative in student Iium student unions in the upcoming seats and also in the upcoming events. So I think uh, that's all for tonight, and it's really good and really nice and interesting sessions. And also, okay, so we will be having a photo session now. So how would the directions? Can you explain it?
Everyone can take out in the middle from both left and right side. Please compress on the middle seats. And for the candidates, you may sit in front of the row, including moderator.